Let's unbox the Funko Pop Vinyl Cantina Alien 3-pack. Villa Varykino. If it's Star Wars, we collect it. Hello there. Thanks for visiting Villa Varykino. As Star Wars collectors, we have a bit of a soft spot for the Cantina aliens as seen in A New Hope. Of course, they're not really seen on screen for very long, and they don't really contribute much to the plot, but because they featured so well in that early range of Kenner vintage action figures, anybody that has collected those iconic toys back in the 70s will remember these ones. They've got sort of unusual names, of course, like Walrus Man. Greedo has a little bit more prominence, of course, with his fatal encounter there with Han Solo, but I think that this was a really fun set from Funko if you are a particular collector of the vintage Kenner Star Wars action figures. So we picked this one up a little while ago. It was on clearance. You might be able to see there are some sticker marks here on the front. We are going to be taking this one out. I can't wait to get them out of their packaging. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Coming up very soon, I'll get all of these Funko Pop vinyl figures out of the box, and we'll even take a little bit of a look of them next to their vintage Kenner counterparts. But first, let's take a closer look at the packaging. One of the things that I thought was really interesting was not just the fact that we have these three iconic Cantina aliens all together in a really fun multi-pack, but it was the actual order of the character names here. We have Greedo, Hammerhead, and Walrus Man. And if you've ever seen the Steven Spielberg film E.T., you know that there is a scene where Elliot is showing off some vintage Star Wars action figures to E.T., and he actually says them in this order: Greedo, Hammerhead, Walrus Man. Whether that is just absolute happenstance on the part of Funko, or somebody thought that that would be a fun little nod to that iconic scene featuring these three vintage figures, I don't know, but I thought that was really fun. This is a really fun 3-pack. I love the art here on the front with Greedo, Hammerhead, and Walrus Man in their bright Kenner colors as we see them in action figure form. It's really fun. Like I said, there's a few marks on this box, so I won't get too caught up on the condition. We've got a nice window here showing the Funko on the inside. We've got a little bit of a peek of the heads here. It says Star Wars 3-pack. And here on the back, we have some cute art of the figures: Greedo, Hammerhead, Walrus Man, and we can see that there was also another 3-pack that came out around the same time of episode 3 characters there. Kind of fun. A little bit of a simpler packaging design compared to what we get from Funko nowadays. On that top, we also have a cute little peekaboo little moment here of the 3 characters looking over the top, and just more of that window down the side. I like how prominently we can see Greedo in all of his green glory there at the side. So pretty fun. If you have yours in better condition, I'm sure this will look fantastic if you keep it in the box. But yes, we do have a little bit of sticker damage here, and the glue has kind of gone a little bit funny here on this outer edge. It's gone very yellow on our particular example here, so we knew that going in. This one's going to be opened. So I'm going to get my scissors. Let's cut some sellotape and get these figures out. So this is a slightly older pack, but it does still seem to be available from many places, which is fun if you want to pick up some of those sort of more, well, I want to say filler characters. You know, they might not be Han Solo, Darth Vader, and the like, but these are so fun and iconic. It's going to be a fun addition to our Funko collection. So let's get these characters out. There we go. Oh, and the backing things come with it, but I just want to get my first look at these characters. Okay, so here we have Greedo. I think the Funko styling on this one's quite funny with his little snout here and his little Rhodian antenna. I love the vibrant colors. Aren't they fun? Okay, and next up is Hammerhead, of course. I always think of these as his little blue swimming trunks. He always looks like he's ready for a day at the beach. He's got his blaster in hand. Oh, I love Hammerheads. They're so cute, aren't they? I love that we've seen a little bit more of them in some of the recent Star Wars shows, like the Mayor in the Book of Boba Fett, and here we have Walrus Man. He doesn't even really have a name in that vintage era. It was just like somebody took a look at him and called him a walrus. I think that was so funny that we actually got merchandise with names like that. So, just going to quickly clear this packaging away and let's get the vintage figures out and take a look at them all next to each other. I love how vibrantly colored Greedo is in this format. Definitely brighter than he appears on the screen in New Hope, and he looks really cute in this Funko format with his green and blue bodysuit here. Of course, he's got his Han Solo-esque blaster that he threatens Han Solo with. So just for comparison's sake, here is the vintage figure that we have here, and I think it's kind of fun. We can see how well they have really replicated the details of the original vintage action figure, down to the colors, the boots, the little striping here. It is really quite fun to see them side by side. Of course, this one isn't going to live with my Funkos. This one lives with our vintage Kenner action figure collection, but it's just fun to see them side by side. I think this is really quite cool. It's funny thinking back to that vintage action figure era where these things were just given really basic names. Of course, Hammerhead is now known as an Ithorian. We have species names, and this one is Nadon. Of course, he now has a character name as well, even though he is still wearing his iconic blue outfit here with a blaster. He doesn't really have a blaster in the Cantina, but you know, the vintage action figures, they all had to give them accessories. So let's take a look at him next to a vintage version here. He doesn't have pupils, so he doesn't kind of have that looking to the side shifty eyes of the original vintage figure, but I like that we've even got the sort of the veins and sculpting here at the top of the legs, which we can see on the original figure. I think Ithorians are really cute, so I particularly like this one out of the set of 3. I think they did a really good job capturing his cuteness here. Very well done by Funko. And then, of course, we have Walrus Man in his very brightly colored outfits here. Of course, we now know that this species is Aqualish, and this is a Pondababa, or Pondababa, however you pronounce it, and with his vibrantly colored outfit. And we can see he's even got his kind of flipper feet against the black there, because, of course, on the original action figure, he has funny flipper feet as well. And again, such a vibrant color here. The orange sort of outfit with his blue tights and blue sleeves. And yeah, and just this vintage style blaster here as well. Kenner collectors will be very familiar with the weapons that each of these Cantina aliens comes with. So I think this is such a fun set. It might not be the most sought after for Funko collectors, but if you love or collect that iconic Kenner vintage era figures, I think this is so fun. Of course, these Cantina aliens came out in the second wave of figures just outside that first 12. So I think a lot of kids ended up with these, particularly if they were trying to bulk out their Star Wars toy collection. So if you grew up with these, I think this is such a fun nod to that era of Star Wars collecting. And I just think they're so cute, the way that they're stylized with their Funko eyes, their bobble heads and bright colors. I think this was so much fun. I'm so happy to have this one. I know it's not the fanciest or the most expensive Funko set out there, but as we have a set of the vintage Kenner action figures, we really wanted to pick this one up to add to our Funko collection. And I think they are just so very, very cute. So there you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I opened up 3 Star Wars collectibles and had a little bit of a trip down a nostalgia lane by comparing them to their vintage Kenner action figure counterparts. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the galaxy, and let's hang out again very soon for more Star Wars fun. May the Force be with you. If you are a Funko Star Wars fan, I've also unboxed the Max Rebo Pop Vinyl figure. That video is linked here in case you haven't already seen it, as well as our whole Funko Star Wars unboxing playlist. This is the way.